Umlazi's Queen's Wellington Stadium continues with day 3 of the 2023 Hollywood Bets COSAFA Cup, which has moved along impressively up to this point. And today, of course, we focus on Group C action as well the detainment continues to roll on. But first, the weather has been a bit of a talking point over the last 3 days. It was cold on the opening day, warm yesterday. The major difference today is it is cloudy, so it's a great day, so to speak, in Durban. So I'm joined by William Shongwe in commentary. I am Caesar Mapena, and well, interesting in as far as the weather, William Shongwe, and what it brings us different from yesterday.
I would prefer it cloudy, this being an afternoon game, meaning that the players once again won't sweat as much, and which will help them maintain a certain level of tempo going through the 90 minutes.
Now, having looked at some of the interesting stats that have come through with regards to this tournament, Zambia and Zimbabwe, of course, the most successful nations, with Zambia also having the most matches played. Zambia, of course, and Zimbabwe, along with South Africa, are the names that keep popping up with teams that have scored the most and most titles won in a row. Those are amongst the teams that, of course, do shine above the rest. Now, yesterday's action saw Comoros up against the Seychelles in a battle between the island nations. Opening goal, impressive, Sean.
Without a doubt, I mean, from a clear, almost like a clearing type of a pass to find the striker who almost like not even looking where the ball is going, but found the target beautifully.
Certainly did. Then with that being impressive, this was even better. From a long way out, top corner, top draw. And well, at that point, Comoros were very much in charge of the situation.
What you didn't pick up is how he chests the body to open up his body into his stronger right foot before he could slam it on the volley. Beautifully so.
Yusuf, of course, with that second goal, and the third came a bit fortuitous. The keeper thought he had done enough to keep it out, then it ricocheted off the attacking player, and 3-0 for 3 points. Moving on to the Zambia-Malawi game. It took an own goal to separate these two sides, but what a match of football we enjoyed here in the evening game.
Let's put it this way, Malawi did create enough pressure to force that kind of an error.
Certainly did. Now having a look at Group A and how things stand. Botswana, of course, with their impressive start, sit ahead of Namibia and South Africa, who've got plenty to do after they ended their match in a draw, Shongwe. Now, in moving things along to Group B, it's Comoros that sit on top. Again, Zambia and Malawi will feel they've got plenty to do here in a group that may turn out to have a surprise or two.
Obviously, Malawi having gotten all 3 points, I think they're the closest to the top team in Comoros, and they'll be looking obviously to take advantage of Seychelles.
Now, having a look at the results, there you have it then. Botswana with the winners on the opening day, and of course Comoros with a big result in as far as Thursday. That's been the biggest result of the tournament thus far, the 3-0 win. And of course, in as far as the fixtures today, it's interesting. Mauritius up against Lesotho. Later on in the evening, we got Mozambique taking on Angola. And in as far as Mauritius and Lesotho, William Shongwe spoke to both coaches a little bit earlier on in the day.
Coach Fidi, it's been a difficult time for Mauritius. Only in 2001 and 2004 the club or the nation went as far as the quarterfinals. What will have changed this time coming into this edition?
So, évidemment qu'il y a un moment difficile pour le football Maurice de telle année à telle année. Bon, qui changement qui nous a apporté depuis une venue.
Et d'abord, mon prend une équipe jeune et dynamique. Techniquement fort et capable de faire la différence. C'est pour ça que l'équipe là n'a changé. Mais je bien dire aussi la mentalité de qui est le plus important. Et on travaille dur et c'est ça qui apporte beaucoup de changements.
So the coach saying, so we knew we are aware of our situation. We were in a bad situation our football. So when he took the responsibility, what the change he apports is he bring new players, new young players to catch up. We know we are late, So we will try our best to catch up the time we lose.
Coach, thanks very much for your time and good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Coach, the last two editions weren't the best for Tikwena. What would you have changed coming into this edition?
There isn't much change, but what we have a mixed team of experienced players, experienced campaigners, and some youngsters. These youngsters have been doing well for their respective clubs in Lesotho, and we also, brought in some confidence in them, which we believe this is the stepping stone for them, to come into the COSAFA Cup. The COSAFA Cup we believe, is the stage whereby players can showcase their talent, and also for for the nation also to have confidence in their team.
Looking at the three previous encounters you had against Mauritius, you obviously won all three of them. And does that bring any form of confidence?
Yes, it does bring confidence into the team setup, but of course we are aware that they've been doing well in the last matches they played, so there has been improvement. We are expecting a tough encounter, but we still believe in ourselves and believe that we'll still get maximum points.
Thank you very much, Coach, and all the best.
Thank you so much.
Day 3 of the 2023 Hollywood Bets COSAFA Cup has Group C action at the King's Wellington Stadium in Umlazi, where Mauritius take on Lesotho in both these nations trying to hit the ground running in getting the group stages alive and kicking, so to speak. So, a good day it is to you wherever you may be, as we look forward to yet another day of entertainment and good football and almost goals here, as we look at some of the FIFA rankings and look at how things stand here with William Shong sitting alongside me. Yes, we expect the likes of South Africa and Zambia to be amongst those that are at the top. What is also interesting is looking at the middle as well as those down at the bottom.
For me, when it comes to this kind of tournaments, those rankings don't quite really matter as such, but it's what you bring as a form on the day, not necessarily the history behind all the games. So this is why the smaller teams, or should I say those positioned at the bottom half of these rankings, still have a good chance as well.
It certainly will now, as we keep things moving along here. It is a cloudy day out in Durban, and there are those that have come out early, and it's been tradition here throughout the tournaments thus far over the last couple of days that there will mostly be those that start the day with us, and we are grateful for them. For the most part, it's been young boys that, of course, have enjoyed some time away from school, and with it being the school holidays, they are still out there, young boys and girls that have enjoyed some of the quality of football that has come out here. And as far as these two nations that are coming out, they've known each other for years now, having come across each other at the COSAFA Cup. Lesotho with the advantage, and many will thus say Lesotho are expected to be the favourites coming into this match.
But I like the respect coming from a note to the coach, who has obviously seen certain things as an improvement on the part of Mauritius in recent games, and he's very cautious in his approach. Yes, we do expect them to win.
Kings Wellington, may I ask you to please stand
time now
up
for the national anthems.
anthem of Mauritius. Kindly stay as you are for the national anthem of Lesotho.
Well, there you have it, the national anthem of Lesotho, then the last of the two, as the two sides go through the pre-match formalities. And not so far in this tournament, in the 4 matches played, we've enjoyed 7 goals scored, and 7 different goal scorers, including one that was an own goal, of course, from a Zambian point of view, with Aaron Katebe, the unfortunate party in that regard. So, the highest scoring side has been Comoros with a 3-0 win over the Seychelles. That means that for Lesotho as well as Mauritius, they could, of course, get off to a flying start if they do go on to score goals and make sure this is one of the most memorable of the matches in the first round. Now, let's have a look at Mauritius. They will start off then with Nazira wearing the number 10 jersey, being the furthest forward. The likes of Nabab as well as Jackson and Sarah Mandif will be crucial from a creative and supportive point of view in the attacking areas.
Jean Louise in goals, for me, the most experienced of all, and seen so many COSAFA battles, and they'll be looking at him to at least slow down the threatening goals, because when you look at the strength of Lesotho.
Well, Lesotho in your picture now, going through their match formalities, and as they do so, we'll look through their starting 11, and of course Tabanchu out in the attacking areas can't be ignored. Look to him, of course, to come good from a goal scoring point of view. Lesawana as well as Libokolani in the deep lying midfield areas will be crucial in keeping a balance in midfield.
For Tuana, for me, the playmaker, or the number 10 just behind Tabanchu, and will be the most maybe dangerous, because he's the link man, obviously, that picks it up from deep in the middle to supply the attacking players.
The match referee from Zambia, Hilary Hambaba, he is assisted by Stephen Tugase from the Seychelles, as well as Kasilami Mulefe from Botswana, the 4th official, Godfrey Kangananga from Malawi. So those are the officials then, and both coaches here will know just how tough this assignment may very well be. Looking to be the first coach to lead Mauritius in victory over Lesotho is the man in charge of the men in blue, and he'll be hoping, of course, they get off to a good start. That's always crucial if there is to be an upset on the cards, which is exactly what they'll be hoping for, the men in red, if they are to walk away with the 3 points. Well, Coach Noti's been there, done it all before, plenty of experience, and well, he never really gives much away in the way of his facial expressions when he's watching a match, but there will be an expectation back home for a positive start here against Mauritius. They look to manage that with the defense, of course, looking for a good, solid start here in ensuring that Makepe leads it and leads the squad as a whole to what should be a good start to the tournament.
It's a country that has been to the final of this tournament, 2001 if I'm not mistaken, and why not have the expectation? And in recent times, besides the last 2 seasons, they have actually qualified for the semi-final. They're a team that is capable of causing big upsets.
And they have done so in the past. It is Lesotho that will get this game underway. They are in the white and blue, attacking the left. Mauritius in the all red will attack the right. So there you have it then. It's Lesotho to get the action underway here. What will be of interest is the pace of the game, especially considering the weather conditions, which we touched on a little bit earlier. With it being as cloudy as it is, will these sides look to get on the front foot? It's not quite as warm as it was yesterday at this time, so there is all the reason in the world to believe that these sides can, well, look to get onto the front foot and pick up the pace if they so wish, in an effort to get the upper hand.
Make no mistake, Lesotho can play. It's the only maybe Achilles heel of the team is that they often lose ball position in key areas while in their build-up stage. There's a lot of individual abilities with this team.
And so far, it's Lesotho now that have had the bulk of the ball, losing it in midfield in with Jackson picking up the pieces out on that far side, operating wide on the left for Mauritius with the number 6 on his back. Applying pressure is Nabab, who's eventually called for the foul then. The captain of this Mauritius side, wearing the number 9 jersey, Jean-Stefan Nabab. Plays for GRSE Wanderers out in Mauritius. Now, it's Lesotho again, working it on the senior side. Next of Sefali involved here. Plenty of numbers back for Mauritius. Lesotho with the Bokolani. Moving over to that far side as they look to use the width of the field here. Good hard running coming into the attacking areas. Nice 1-2s, and in the final ball just had a little bit too much onto it. Plus the flag had gone up for offside. But already you can see the creativity coming through then, coming into the final third.
That will continue to be the trend. The ball-playing team, and also it'll depend up to Mauritius to see just how much they manage the spaces in between. And you can already see a low block being created by the red sets.
Well, Lesotho very quick here to get their foot on the ball and look to take control of this game here. They've got it with Sefali again. See just how deep Mauritius are lying here, as William Shonga just pointed out and above. And want to work it in field here, looking for the 1-2. This is good from Mauritius. The pub again, looking for the teammate. Oh, very nearly an own goal. That was cleared off the line then. And Makepa, the captain, was the man who would have been in trouble. Nicely done by Mauritius.
Very direct in their approach. It's a case of maybe not having enough confidence on the ball, but what they make up with that is the speed going forward. They don't dwell too much on the build-up. You will see long passes will be played from very deep to try and catch Lesotho on the back foot.
So whilst Lesotho were the first to settle and get the rhythm, it's Mauritius that have created the first real chance of the game then. A bit of a scare for Lesotho, a real one.
A real great chance. And also the cutback. I mean, he was looking to maybe squeeze it direct on the line, on the goal line, but they saw the player approaching just a little bit outside of the 6-yard area. And a great move altogether.
Good start to the game here. And what we've seen inside the opening 4, two sides that, by the look of it, are going to get at each other.
Because both sides think they can win this game. And I don't think you'll see either one maybe sitting back and playing defensively. If you can't win a game, if you can't play open football when you play against those that you think they're at the same level, then forget it.
Now, good movement off the ball here as Lesotho probe. Only one target to aim for again. Creative with trying to find the furthest man forward. The keeper very much wise to what's going on around him is Jean-Louis. To have the big men in the attacking areas to Mauritius, so no surprise to see that long ball coming forward. You can see the 4 men over the halfway line. All of them have size about them.
Which is what I said. You'll see a bit more direct football from Mauritius.
Now, Lesotho direct this time, and in the end it's a corner. Thanks to some good defending and staying goal side, but again another interesting avenue. Lesotho trying to pull over the top for the 3rd time now.
Which is a variety into their approach to the game. I mean, once they're able to draw them a little bit out of their defensive half and there are gaps of spaces behind the defensive line, it always makes sense. Why not throw it?
5 in the box, attacking this. Well, they're appealing for a penalty. Nothing going. They've still got it, Lesotho. Nicely done in working it wide. Now they've still got those numbers in there. The ball in needs quality. And one has to say, one thing that does certainly work in favor of Mauritius so far is the height. They've got plenty of it, not only in the attacking areas, but in the defensive areas as well.
Which maybe Notsi needs to take into account then that any crosses made mustn't be played high into the box. Maybe cut them back a little bit low as well. Allow the midfielders to fly in with speed.
Nicely done with the back to goal here and finding midfielders to bring forwards. Nice 1-2 on that far side again. It's Nambi involved in the creativity as they work it out wide. The ball in is too close to the keeper, but that's what Mauritius will be looking for. Get it out wide, whip it in, get the big man in there, and see if we can compete against the Lesotho defense in the air.
Indeed, Jackson doing ever so well to cut a little bit narrow. He plays on the wide left. The variety of approaches from Lesotho is what I think is going to work. But while maybe Mauritius will expect them to come knocking the balls into the attacking third, suddenly there's a long one that will throw behind it. So it might not be too sure just how far high can they push.
Well, for Lesotho, the last game, of course, was a qualifier, and it was against a nation as part of the COSAFA family, so to speak, William Shongwe, in the Comoros. Game played, which was a home game for Lesotho, but Comoros walked away 1-0 winners in that particular time. Finding it tough in those qualifiers, Lesotho, with not just one but two nations from the COSAFA region, the other being mighty Zambia, also at the beating of Lesotho twice, 3-1 in Zambia and 2-0 in Lesotho.
Well, a home game on paper, that is.
Yeah.
Played at Orlando Stadium.
Good as home, is it?
Not good enough.
Now, Mauritius again. Yeah, I have to say, inside the opening, 7 or so minutes, have played with a nice structure here where you could look out their game plan. They certainly have, over the years, shown an improvement in the battles in the COSAFA Cup, and still no difference. Nice touches. Battle on in the middle of the pockets, rolling for the men in red. Then a bit of rush of blood to the head is why the ball was lost when it looked as though they had numbers towards this near side. Now, space to turn here. Options with movement off the ball. Kotwane playing the number 10 and he's back. Finally the captain in Magebe. Now there's movement on the far side. The ball forward though won't cause any problems.
Problem with that kind of a pass going forward is if you hit it with the laces, it'll run all the way to the goal. Those that are in the know-how, they'll know how to dig it a little bit, give it a backspin so that when it lands, it slows down dramatically.
Of course, the last time these two nations faced each other, it was right here in Durban in a COSAFA Cup game. Lesotho walked away 2-1 winners with Maka and Tabansu being the goal scorers. Tabansu, of course, starts here today in this match. Nicely done in getting it clear from Razi Tunza, operating out wide on the left side of defense. Nakepe with the header to initially get it clear here for Lesotho. Good strong play. Nicely done in finding the captain in the Bob. Then he's floated one in. In fact, he's overcooked it somewhat, but well, they are once again looking to play to their strengths in working it out wide into crossing positions. Mauritius yet to connect with one of those crosses, but you can see the game plan.
But because they're slightly more defensive, you'll find the three maybe up front straying all by themselves, cutting lonely figures and creating a big gap in between from the midfielders joining them. So that could work in favor of Lesotho, whereby the second ball scenario might be in their favor.
Lesotho now looking for width, the one on one on the far side. In field, they'll be looking for those nifty little touches with the good movement off the ball. Nicely done by Jackson in winning it back here for Mauritius. Finding it going tough with Lesotho closing down right from the front. So they will win the set piece, which will afford them the breather.
Challenge, of course, if you are the team that is on the back foot for the most part, and you hardly have your foot on the ball. It means you are running a whole lot more. than the team that is holding position, and it tends to work in favor of the team that holds more possession.
Well, Lesotho in years gone by have had some joy in the COSAFA Cup, a few fourth place finishes, a third place finish, runners up back in 2000. As you mentioned earlier, William Traore, play a brand of football that when it's there, when they've got the right group, they really can cause problems. And here they are looking to cause a problem with the shot from range, wide of the mark.
If I'm not mistaken, the coach was a part of that team. They lost to Zimbabwe, by the way.
Yeah, 6-0 I think the scoreline was.
Big scoreline.
Yeah, huge.
The days of Pete and Lou. The Bulawayo Express of Zimbabwe.
I remember back then, for guys my age, I think Peter Ndlovu was a name you'd hear your adults when they're talking about the game, speaking about it. Peter Ndlovu, of course, would speak very highly of him until he came down and played for Sundowns. Most of the guys my age back then, when we were just kids then, hadn't seen him play, and then we understood what the hype was about once he came down and played.
One of the few first from Zim that made it to the English Premiership.
Yep. Now, it's Mauritius. Again, working it out wide, no surprise there. Napib, the captain wearing the number 9 in his back, always impressively looking to get involved in those plays around that final third. With his height, at times you'd expect him to be amongst those getting into the box. Now, they're giving it away in a dangerous area here. Lesotho look to capitalize, and hitting the shot straight at the keeper. He had runners to the left and right then. Well, the uppers, he kept his shot on target, but Tabantu looking for 2 in 2 against Mauritius.
I'm a little bit disappointed. The whole idea was he was trying to just curl it into that far post. That's why he wasn't putting too much power. But that curl didn't happen. It went straight down the throat of the goalkeeper.
Well, mentioned a little bit earlier, for those of you that may have missed it, he just scored in the 2-1 win here in Durban against Mauritius back in 2022. So looking to make it 2 goals in 2 against Mauritius. Now, get up here is Lange. Foul. No question about it then. A little over-eager with the challenge was Simkota, operating out wide in the right back position for Lesotho. Plays for Linare FC. Just looking at the men from Lesotho, for the most part, they do play their football within their country's borders. A few that play outside. One in Swaziland for Mbabane Highlanders. That is Bereng, which many of you should be familiar with within the borders of South Africa. Then, of course, Royal AM does have another. Sera. Now, there's a chance for Lesotho. There's a great chance for Lesotho. Let that one know for Lesotho. Kept his composure. And in the end, Mokashane has the easiest of tap-ins then, with the keeper having come a long way off his line and unable to use his hands.
Unfortunately, but I thought Lewis was pretty much close enough to put him off, and also he could have maybe tried to block him, but that would have come at the expense of a red card, and you don't want to receive a red so early. But very calmly, as the attacking player of Lesotho once went past the goalkeeper, and no recovery for any of the defenders to assist him.
Well, let's have a look at it again here. He lost it to a lovely first time ball then. Kept his composure. The bounce is what took the keeper in. A little drop of the shoulder from Mokashane. It drops the shoulder and the bounce. Keeper's not sure if he's taking it with him to the left or in the end. It was beautifully done by Mokashane in keeping his composure and going in to slot it in to make it 1-0 to Lesotho. 15 minutes gone by. Just what the game needed.
I guess it came with the run of play.
Yep.
They might have not have made that many attempts, but if you talk controlling the game, ball position, entries, and also just complete domination in just about every sense. Yes, Lesotho was ahead. The numbers will tell you that was the situation.
Now, they will have a set piece here for this challenge on the near side. Mutu is the guilty party for a challenge where he's not even goal side. He's coming in from the outside in, William Shongwe. And no chance of getting the ball. The only intention here is to foul the opponent. He's lucky not to pick up the yellow.
Wrongly positioned to defend. He had to do that, but that will of course come at the expense of the card.
So, men over towards that far side. Big man back for Mauritius. In swinger. Coming into the near post. Well, that was an interesting one. And just looking at the tactic used for the near post, thinking maybe long one towards the back post. They went low towards the front post, which is what you were speaking of earlier, noting the height advantage for Mauritius.
Yeah. And remember that mix from Lesotho. They could build up, but every now and then hit long. And I think Mauritius were caught in that same scenario where they pushed up a bit in the hope of closing the ball central.
Patati now gets the yellow card. I was going to say he'll be very lucky to walk away without a yellow card here, but they are beginning to have a few problems in dealing with Lesotho on the one-on-one situations in the wide areas. They're getting cut and they are reacting to it.
Listen, I spoke about the individual ability of some of these players. You know, more like the South African type of style. Lots of skill. In fact, in all the region in the southern part of the continent, there's just an abundance of skill individually. Imagine that skill being put together to form a combination of players in a team.
Last time they went low. This time they go high, again it's in towards the near post. And it's the men in red that win the aerial duel. Well, impressively, for all they're doing right with the ball at their feet, Lesotho, William Shongwe, what they're also impressive with is when they don't have the ball, how hard they're working to win it back, and they have to work hard to ensure Mauritius don't string together the passes and force errors out of Mauritius. They are doing that quite impressively so far, to a point where there's no rhythm at all for Mauritius inside the opening 20 minutes. That's credit to Lesotho as well.
You just look at this ball that has just been played out. That basically got created out of the pressure that Lesotho were applying to force defenders to play that ball quickly off the back. And that sometimes when it's played under pressure, it works for the opposition.
Here they are with Makepe, the captain. Time, space, in fact, the first chance, the first real chance of the game for those joining us late was created by Mauritius, where Makepe very nearly scored an own goal. After what was an impressive start from Mauritius, their best attacking move thus far. That was a lovely challenge, by the way, just a moment ago. Here's Nabab. Looking to get it in behind that defense. Well, the important thing is it went with safety. It didn't quite work out to the intentions, but they played it towards safety. Obviously, the apologies to the bench with a bit of a smile. There's Murwani. Murwani, I should say. Plays for LMPS FC out in Lesotho. Sensible. Kept the school.
something that I saw that I liked from the defensive unit of Lesotho. As quickly as that ball landed into a Mauritius player, unmarked, the rest of the defensive line started on the back foot, anticipating a long pass. Initially it looked like a good pass, but because the defensive line had anticipated that well, they were first on the ball. A hollow defense get caught on the front foot, even if there's no pressure on the ball carrier.
Now, picking up the pieces here is Mauritius, hoping to have a bit of joy inside the final third. They've had very little of that outside of the chance I spoke of earlier. They created inside the opening 5. Lesotho again, getting over that halfway line, do look menacing. Just with the runners to the left and right, the comfortability for the man on the ball. Sifali. Here's a chance to work it out wide again. Again, we can see the numbers that have dropped back for Mauritius here, trying to make it difficult for Lesotho to play through them.
The only way that they can defend against a skillful side. They can pass, they've got individual ability. So.
Nice turn, here's a chance! They're better. That's a bit of creativity in the build-up. Tawansu again with yet another opportunity, another shot that ends up in the keeper's arms, but it all starts with Sifali and is allowed to run on beautifully by Fatwan.
Now, I'm beginning to think he's struggling with his left foot because there was no real power. Yes, he was on target, but he lacked power. And I was thinking to myself, maybe Fatwan is the more likely player to be able to have a better chance because he's right-footed. He could have at least a very decent shot. But obviously, I guess Tabanchu was in a better position. Yes.
That's it. We spoke of Lesotho and the fact that there were so many back just moments before that attack for Mauritius, and how the intention for that is to make life difficult to play through. Again, you see the creativity from the likes of the man in your picture, Sifali, cutting infield and combining with Fatwani, who allows the ball to run past him. All of that creativity is opening up this Mauritius defense.
And that will continue to be the situation. That's how Lesotho plays. And it's a question of maybe can they last, can they play long enough to continue to dominate in that fashion. They do this in patches, unfortunately. Normally they are good in the first half, but as the game progresses, they seem to drop the tempo.
Nazira did well to keep it alive, then under a bit of pressure from the Lesotho defense. Now he's looking for the flick on, beaten in the air then by Rakepe. Good play defensively is the Lesotho captain, looking to take command of that defense and unsettle the Mauritian strikers. There he is again. Nice work to keep it alive here on this near side from Motu. Nepab. Nice touches to bring it down. Then again, he's surrounded by men in white, so doesn't hold on to it for too long. The point we were making earlier about Lesotho and the ability in midfield to just unsettle and force errors, if not win the ball back immediately.
Win the ball back immediately. As a team that builds up, wherever they are in their build-up, there's a number of players. So when they lose it, it gives them the chance to high press immediately and try to win it back. There's benefits in build-up play because you have a chance to press the situation immediately.
Well, they're doing a good job of keeping it moving here. Lesotho, with a number of red shirts around them, they still were able to hold on to it. Here's Makepe. That's it, Tunsa. Interesting ball. Well, was defensively. Beautifully done defensively, and was initially very interested in the run and the ball and how they very nearly matched each other in just quality on this near side. needed quality defending to ensure that there was no danger to the Mauritian defense. Now, middle of the park here. This one's gone. In fact, the flag was up for offside. There you have it. Lesotho scored the goal here. They're the only side to have strayed into offside positions. Again, they are moving about quite nicely. Mauritius with everybody, just about everybody behind the ball here. Still it's Lesotho that make inroads and get into that box, hoping for the corner. That's exactly what they'll get. Last touch coming off of Colin, wearing the number 22 on his back. Jean-Pascal Colin plays for Circle de Joachim.
He's not happy with the goal, but that's the only way that ball could stray out for a corner. That's because he was the man with the last touch.
Now for Lesotho, they've got the corner here, approaching the half-hour mark. Only the second of the match. Well, they've got the header. It's not enough onto it. It needed more in the way of power from the ball played in towards Tabansu for him to be able to generate power with the header. Comfortable pickup it was in the end for Jean-Louis.
But there's small concern to still think that Tabansu is not the tallest of strikers, and that he could actually find himself in the midst of all of them and still get a... Yes, the header might have lacked power, but he still got to it.
But I find it interesting with Tabansu now. That was another header straight at the keeper, right? Add that to his 2 shots straight at the keeper. There's 3 opportunities, all of them on target so far. Now, full across here, needs to be dealt with defensively. If not, then Mauritius thought this was their moment, but the whistle has gone against them. And a reminder for Lesotho. Out of nowhere, moments like that can pop up, and Mauritius can find an equalizer.
Just like that. And to think that ball was second ago was in the attacking third, but Mauritius, looking to use that quick transition play, was able to get into the attacking third. Their wing play is not bad at all, Cesar Pena.
Saramandif, the man who thought he had scored then, hoped. Way too predictable. Lucky they've still got the throw in. It's a pass many would have seen coming a mile away. So, Lesotho again profit off of a forced error. Lovely little back heel in and behind that defense, and a genuine chance. Boga turned it in with beautiful movement. A lovely little back heel on the volley to set him free. And Lesotho will feel now they should at least be further up by at least 1 or 2 more.
Maybe the speed with which we came with.
Nice. Oh, that's
this
beautiful.
first touch gets it a little bit wider under a bit of pressure, of course, but it still tries to squeeze a decent shot. If they keep it low, maybe, just maybe, you'll have been able to beat the goalkeeper. But good pressure created by the defense.
You didn't see the quality in the little flick pass?
Oh, yes.
Right, yeah. Half an hour gone by. It's 1-0 Lesotho lead by.
This is who they are. I'm Nant. Listen, you can find this team on a good day. They'll show you flames.
Yeah. Now, it's looking interesting for Mauritius as they try and get it in behind the defense. Nice little burst of pace. It's comfortably done defensively by Mkwanazi. And yes, I said it, if you are just wondering, Mkwanazi playing for Lesotho. The day has finally come.
I know at some stage this was going to come. His parents might have gone to work in Lesotho and decided to stay.
Could have, yes.
And was born there and it became Lesotho.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
First name very much a Sotho name. Vukumelo. Plays for Bantu FC. Langston then looked to be studs. Yep, it was always going to be a set piece. It's a run away from, but then he got desperate, and Saramandov may have won the follow-up challenge, but he left both his feet and Langston was still showing. That's dangerous. That's dangerous. Always say you don't have to commit the foul to hurt the opponent for that to be called as a foul. It should just be standard. As soon as we see it, we call it. Now, talking about a great crowd, William Shonga, and talking about great weather in Germany in the winter, there's an example of it where they are wearing shorts, t-shirts in the middle of winter, and even though it's a cloudy day, why not go out and enjoy the football? And if you've got a good group with you, ensure that you give us a nice atmosphere in the background, enjoy yourself, enjoy the football, enjoy some of the VIPs out there, your Mark Fishers, your William Shongas, and whoever else is out there.
And we haven't had that opportunity to maybe talk over quite a number of the personalities that have attended this game. Mlungisi, Professor Ngubane was here a few days back, and we'll continue to let you know on who else is here. I know Paul Matthews, the SuperSports United manager who doubles up as a scout, is coming tomorrow. And
this morning had the pleasure of seeing Madame Sue Dayton for the first time from a distance. Haven't had a chance to meet her as yet. And she's here as well.
A legend.
Now, Paul Lennon, well, that didn't quite work to plan, but they'll be happy that it ended as a corner. Could have ended much worse.
It's a defender clearing, facing his own goal. That easily could have ended in the back of the net, but the speed of attack, once again, that's one of the things that Lesotho is able to do with a bit of skill to bypass the defender.
Come back to that in a moment, Sean. Let's just enjoy this corner. 5 coming from a straight line, looking to spread out. It's Nabib that's the first to get a head onto it. You spoke of the speed in the attack, and I think that's something we've seen from Mokoshani wearing the number 11 out wide on the right side, as well as Sifali wearing the number 18 on his near side. Good old school wing play, where the wingers get the ball, they cut the defenders and cross the ball in at the first chance of asking after picking the defender. They've done that time and time again. There is one of them, Mokoshani, early with the ball in fact it's a shot.
Which is why you need very speedy players on the wings, because it's the only place in the field of play that you have a chance to be 1v1, which is the fullback. And if you get past that fullback, you start throwing them from the center of defense to try and provide cover, which creates space now for your attacking players in the central position. So it's always a key for any player that has players of that nature playing on the wing side.
Never gets tired, the tactic, does it? We've got wingers of that nature to take on the defender, have him one-on-one, isolate the defender. It never gets tired. Over the years, that's the one thing about football that will never get tired. Wingers taking on fullbacks.
One coach in particular that has used to good effect in South Africa in the DSTV Premiership, Gavin Hunt. He had the likes of Pelembe, Dane Clayt in his time when he won those 3 championships. And now
so
the Tony
Tabetza as well,
Right now, they got Masego, who's coming on nicely as a white player, and the news are that there are big sides that are eyeing him, that have set their eyes on him. Who knows what might happen. There's a neighboring team to SuperSport United that has continued to poke into the nest of SuperSport every season.
For years now. Now, there's space on that far side, but this pretty much sums up the half for Mauritius. It started well, but once Lesotho continued just to dominate, just from a playing point of view, we saw less and less of Mauritius playing to the best of their ability.
You need the ball to play.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, Lesotho has kept the most of it. Here's pressure created again. I think this header was meant for the goalkeeper.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Errors have crept into the game in almost every aspect, where they're giving away the ball cheaply. They are making it difficult for themselves. Ball in, keep it well in. It's a shot! Ooh, power! Lots of it. And it didn't miss by much. It's Safali. One of those two wingers we spoke of earlier, this time drifting in field.
You see, now that takes intelligence. The players I mentioned of Subsport, in Dane Clayton and Pelembe, how they used to do, yes, they played wide, but they had the intelligence to be able to sneak in a little bit narrow for opportunities that will fall from the big strikers that they had. And they were scoring goals, like lots of goals between those two. So Safali was applying that very same tactic, which I'm sure if you're to apply it, will work.
There's Lukhashani getting a bit of joy from those out in the stands. I'm wondering how many are actually fans of Lesotho in that group. Wouldn't be surprised as well with so many in South Africa finding the origins coming from Lesotho.
It's a neighbor. Lesotho is a
Yeah,
neighbor.
it's really a neighbor. It's almost family, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's almost, I think of it as family. It's almost another province, but not respectfully, I mean. You know?
It's only mal.
That's why I get to respectfully, you know? But coming from the Free State, to me, it's almost like brothers, you know? They're right here. Nicely done here on the near side as they look to open it up for the shot, for the skill, and that's his fourth attempt straight at the keeper. Tabantu.
You know what? He might not be finding the target or beating the goalkeeper, but his hunger is such that he's always going to make that effort. We had a player yesterday from, trying to think from which of the two teams between Malawi and Zambia, wearing jersey number 7. He was firing in all cylinders. I think it's from Malawi.
Oh, yes, yeah.
I mean, with just
From
every
Zambia, actually.
yeah.
Zambia, yeah.
We'll check it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I can tell you, I think he was from Malawi, man.
Okay.
Yeah, but I tell you, with every touch that he had, anything around the 45 yards, he thought one way, take a shot at goal.
But I'm making the point I'm making with regards to Tabantu. All 4 of the shots he's had, including, well, the header was well inside the box,
Yeah.
but towards the edge of the box. So all the shots he's had have been on the edge of the box, all of them from a very central area, right? If not just outside of the box. Sooner or later, he's going to get one right. Well, you've got that many.
It's the whole point.
Yeah,
It's the
sooner
whole
or
point.
later.
Yeah.
They're all on target so far. To me, that's always a good start when they're all on targets, like, okay.
I'll analyze him further to maybe tell what could be the other problem that maybe he's lacking. Strength.
Yeah.
You know, which gives you the leverage to be able to hold the ball and adjust and align it for a better shot.
Yes. Especially with that last shot, I have to agree with you. Didn't look fully balanced as he took the shot. Wow. Last 5 minutes coming up. For Mauritius, well, best moments came inside the opening 5 minutes, and they nearly forced an own goal. Keeping in mind, we've already seen an own goal scored yesterday when the defending champions lost 1-0 to Malawi in the evening. If you haven't kept up with this year's COSAFA Cup just yet,
Something that you could easily have anticipated. I mentioned before the game that if you mix the flames of Malawi plus the copper bullets, the explosive nature of that reaction sure is what we saw that yesterday.
And whilst there was only one goal in that game and it was an own goal, many of those that I've spoken to that are present here at the COSAFA Cup are saying that was by far the best game so far in the tournament. Just quality on the field both ways.
The giants of the region.
Yeah.
I think it must be agreed upon that. I would have been disappointed if we didn't live up to that.
Great turnout. I think the fans would have been disappointed if we didn't live up to that. Also, Malawi had a lovely turnout of home fans that are around this part of the world. They were loud, they were proud, and they worked just as hard as the team out in the field, I can tell you. Now, Lesotho looking to keep it together here until the halftime break. Nabab.
Was it not a rent a crowd?
No, they had the flag and everything. No,
No, listen, every season they don't disappoint.
no, they don't.
They come from nowhere and suddenly you realize that, hey, these are not just South
Also-
Africans that maybe have chosen side
No.
between the two. They're real, original.
Also, I was fortunate enough to be in Malawi in November, December last year. I spent a couple of weeks out there, and the number of jerseys and you see from South African teams out there is jaw-dropping. They really are into their Southern African football and also love the Absa Premiership of Malawi. Many are Sundowns fans. There were many Sundowns jerseys I saw out there. If I'm not mistaken, they may even have a branch out there, Sundowns. Must just double check that fact.
Who knows? I'm telling you, that could be the extension of their base. Easily. All the other South African teams, I'm sure. If you talk Chiefs, Pirates, I'm sure they'll catch up on a few.
Here's Nabab. Well, it's done well to get to the byline. Only problem is, he's very right-footed. So, all the defender had to do was stay with him. And I wondered if he tried with his left. He never really did, but nice run out to the far side.
He was going to trip himself.
Yeah. That's the one back here by Mutu. Now, again, the error in a very dangerous part of the field here. Really finding the through ball as well. It was desperate times defensively for Mauritius to ensure there was no danger to their goal.
I can't help but think there was a chance that he could take a shot. I mean, he was closer to the edge of the 18 yards area. That's a distance that anybody feels can take on the goalkeeper.
Of course, Mauritius and Lesotho, amongst a good number of nations, William Chongo, that were in as far as the Nations Cup qualifiers, having to go through the preliminary stages on the way through to the group stages. All in all, it was Botswana, Mauritius, Seychelles, Lesotho, and Eswatini. The nations that had to go through the preliminary stages to go through to the group stages. Botswana against Eritrea. Mauritius lost out to Sao Tome and Principe. 4-3 the aggregate scoreline that Mauritius lost out to. Whilst, well, it was sad for Seychelles. They were up against Lesotho. I say sad because it's two Southern African nations going up against each other. Lesotho going through the preliminary stage with a 3-1 aggregate win. Eswatini smashing Somalia 5-1 to get into the group stages of the qualifiers. So it was good news for the most part for the Southern African teams that went through the long route to get into the group stages. And all the likes of Namibia have kept us smiling ever since, including South Africa. Now, good movement to the far side here. Mauritius with a minute added on to the end of the first half. Can't really find the options they're looking for here to create a clear-cut chance. Zambia is another nation that's done well, qualified already. I mentioned South Africa and Mozambique are also in with a good chance. Nice to see Southern African nations out there roughing it up with the very best of them on the continent, William Chongwa, in their efforts to try and ensure that the region is proudly represented.
Much better this time around.
Yeah.
We hardly have teams qualifying for the finals. That's one to drop in there and there, but there's been an increase, which is, of course, good for the region.
There's still one nation that is sorely missed through their inactivity. We'll touch on that maybe a little bit later on at the end of this first half. However, it's Lesotho that's very much in control and in charge here against Mauritius. They lead by a goal to nil. It's Mahashani with the only goal of this match, and moments for Lesotho to extend their lead have been there, whilst Mauritius has just been able to hang on to conceding just the one goal. They had their best moment inside the opening 5 minutes in Mauritius, where they very nearly forced a lone goal. Other than that, it's been mostly Lesotho. So it's Lesotho that lead at half time with a scoreline of 1-0. Well, it's Group C action here in Durban at the Kings Wellington Stadium in Umlazi, and it's Lesotho after the first 45 that lead Mauritius by a goal to nil. Very much in control with Lesotho of that game. They'll feel they could, maybe should be leading by more than just the one as we go back to look at some of the best moments from that first half. So, it was Mauritius that started off for the likes of Nabab, the captain, involved nice and early here, and very nearly forcing an own goal then. Nicely done by the keeper with the clearance off the line then. Werani with a lovely little save here. That's the best moment for Mauritius in that half. Spraying the brushes of Makepe, the captain. Now, Lesotho went on to create a number of moments. How's this for Paul over the top, jump at the shoulder, lost the keeper, and kept his composure to record the first goal and only goal of this match so far. Mahachani again beautifully dealing with this lovely little ball over the top then from Tabantu, gets the assist. Want to drop the shoulder, he caused all sorts of confusion for the goalkeeper, who then had to decide left or right, follow the ball of the man, and in that indecision the Lesotho attacker went on to score an impressive goal. Now they weren't quite done. They had another moment here, and a better connection is what Tabantu would have been looking for. Comfortable to save for Jean-Louis in the end. Lovely work from Sifali out wide on the left to create the moment, along with Botswana with the creativity. So, only the one goal attempt then from Mauritius, nothing on target as yet. They've got plenty of problems, although they do have more of the ball. That's just about it, in that they aren't able to really get into the final third and create goal-scoring opportunities. So, William Shongwe, as a bit of a surprise in the way of his next interview, let's find out who he's speaking to in the next few.
Mr. Felix Tangawarima, CAF and FIFA referee instructor, is here with me. And Mr. Tangawarima, what is your impression so far in as far as the referee's performance are concerned?
Thank you very much. This particular tournament is special for COSAFA in the sense that we are trying to rebuild. You know, we lost 5 top referees who have been dominating Africa and the world. In Gomez, we have Gianni, who is an instructor here, Martins from Angola, we have Bernard from Seychelles, and Bondo. So the top cream of Africa from our region, they've all retired. And this particular tournament is so special for us because we are now rebuilding. We want to close the gap. And from the games which have been played already, you can see the product is very, very competitive. You know, we can market our product. This is because of the training we have done, the preparation we have done prior to this tournament. COSAFA gives us about 6 days to prepare, and we have been given the best facilities we would want to use. So at the moment, really, we are well supported, and the referees, as you can see, they've done their level best. Yes, there may be some 1 or 2 things to talk about, but when you look at the big picture, the future of the region is bright.
Wow. The next question, actually, you almost half answered it, is what your impression in as far as the performance of some of these referees so far?
Like I said, you'll find out that up to now, nobody have complained about refereeing, which means they've done so well. They've done to our expectation. But you know, as we start tomorrow, we are getting into the second round of the matches also come tough and higher, and we are also prepared for that. I think the referees so far, they've done extremely well, and we are very grateful to COSAFA for the provision of the facilities, which I can say they are the best we would want.
There are other things that maybe we don't see that you are doing behind the scenes. Yesterday I was talking to you about a room that has been prepared to have a session with some of the referees. Is that going on?
Yes, we have a studio at our hotel where we are doing all the, every game, every situation is being cut as a clip. Our training session was cut as clip. After the games, we go to the rooms. We then debrief the referees based on the footage we would have taken from here. So everything is actually here. We are working very hard. We are also working hard at the hotel.
Thank you very, very much, Felix. And it's always a pleasure talking to you. And we hope the standard, of course, will continue to improve in this region.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate your support and everybody's support. Thank you so much.
Well, they are having a good time out in the stands, and a very informative interview from William Shong with them. We're learning more about the referees and their responsibilities. We are off for a short ad break. We come back with the second half of Mauritius against Lesotho. Welcome back as we get ready for the start of the second half here at the Kings Wellington Stadium between Mauritius and Lesotho. Lesotho leading by a goal to no, and while they're looking to extend that lead, in the second half, whilst Mauritius will hope to find a way back into this game and start to ask some serious questions of the Lesotho defense. It is Mauritius in the red that will get the second half underway. They will attack the left of your picture, while Lesotho in the blue and white will attack the right. Fatwani in your picture shows that had a very good first half for Lesotho alongside the likes of Tabansu, who got the assist, by the way, for the goal scored by Mokhashan. Defensively, Makepe has kept things sound alongside the likes of Mkhonazi and Simkoto, not forgetting Razi Tunza from a Lesotho back four. They've all combined beautifully in protecting Morani, the goalkeeper. All eyes on the match referee, Hilary Mbaba from Zambia, to get the action underway. Right on cue then. We have Mauritius now trying to find a better 45 here, especially on the front foot, where they'll be hoping things are much improved in the attempts here to find an equalizer. They'll also be very much aware of the importance of the next goal, will Mauritius. If it is Lesotho to score it, could run the risk of knocking the fight out of their opponents. Although, whilst Mauritius will be hoping it's they that score that next goal, they'll also hope the wave that comes with it will see them going on to create further problems if they are to get it.
The team that comes back from behind normally gets the advantage if they do come up with an equalizer. Because at this stage where I don't think they've troubled Lesotho except for in a few moments. So when suddenly Lesotho now is conceding, that can create a lot of pressure whereby they might not be able to sustain that fighting power to survive, but instead it'll give Mauritius that additional conviction to say, you know what, we can do it.
In the picture here is the goal scorer, Mokhatjane. Spoke of he in the first half, as well as Sefali, the two wingers, with Mokhatjane operating out wide on the right and Sefali wide on the left. They were troublesome for Mauritius, caused all sorts of problems, and combined exceptionally well with the likes of Fotwani and Tabansu as well.
I've seen Fotwani before, and I've always believed that they can offer a hell lot more, and in his just individual ability, but today he seems to have been overshadowed by Mokhatjane or Sefali, the two wingers.
Now, I was going to say, Mauritius struggling a bit to play it out of the danger zone, but in the end they were able to get the ball clear, or win the set piece rather, I should say. Well, for Lesotho in the qualifiers, Group H of the AFCON qualifiers, found themselves right at the bottom of 5 matches played. Having scored just the 1 goal in those qualifiers, that would have been a major concern for them, conceding 8. Picking up just the 1 point, mentioned they lost to both Zambia and the Comoros. Comoros in action yesterday are the side that has scored the most goals in a single match so far in this tournament, winning their match against the Seychelles 3-0. Lesotho again showing patience here as they look to build going forwards. Predu has had a long day. Motu in your picture wearing the number 2 on his back for Mauritius, as long as Balisson wearing the number 3. Those are the left and right backs for Mauritius. First half they had a torrid time in dealing with the wingers from Lesotho. There's a nice turn. Patient Lesotho as they look to break down their opponents. Well, unfortunate then that the player that's suffering from what seems to be an injury went to ground as the ball was coming to him for the pass, and I think he chose the perfect moment, knowing that once the ball passes him, it'll go out for the throw-in. So no better moment than that to go down.
What looked like a very promising build-up.
Yeah.
So Fali is the player obviously operating down the left-hand side of the wing. And promising attack whereby I felt like, you know what, this is the type of movements that is able to stretch or shift the defensive structure of the opposition from one side to the other, to be able to pinpoint a pass at some stage, and it was building up towards that.
Now,
Sarah Motebang, one of those that is warming up down the touchline. You would remember him having played for Bloemfontein Celtics,
Yep.
but he moved also to the Royal AM. I think spent some time at Mauritius United as well on loan from Royal AM. He's back at Royal AM.
Also amongst those warming up is Charlo Bering. Lesotho, of course, the nation that will feel with the ups and downs within the COSAFA Cup. The one thing that is missing from them is taking it one step up and qualifying for a Cup of Nations. They haven't had the honor of qualifying. Of course, back in the day, they, I'm talking some time ago, would have had the honor of withdrawing during qualifying or withdrawing during the qualifying phase. Banned in the 1998. They withdrew a number of times, back in 76, in 84, in 88, in 96 as well when South Africa hosted it, as we confirmed the yellow card here for Saramandif. And this is why he's late. Yeah. Deserving. Joins Batate on a yellow card. Now, chance for Lesotho here to try and find that second. Good work defensively from Mauritius as they start to counter-attack, and once again their passing and movement isn't quite on the same pace, so nothing comes of what they hope to be a counter-attack. Middle of the park here, comfortable for the likes of Libogolani. They really are finding the going quite easy. Here is Libogolani. Kwanazi. Again, they forced the error. But Lesotho, there's one thing they've done very well over the course of this game is keep the pressure on Mauritius, force the errors and mistakes. In total for Mauritius, 37 games they've played now. This is their 38th in the COSAFA Cup. They've only won 7, drawn 6, lost 24. 64 games or goals they've conceded in those 37 games. At today's is 65 and 38. Ahead of today, the last game was a game against Malawi in Durban. They lost by 2 goals to 0. As mentioned before that, they did play Lesotho and also lost 3-0 to Eswatini during the last visit for Mauritius to Durban.
The question that I have, is for teams like Lesotho, Eswatini, Seychelles, Mauritius, that strong to bring that going. Okay, maybe Eswatini is going as far as the semi-final, but Seychelles, Mauritius, and what keeps them coming? I mean, knowing that...
I'll try and answer it. So this I'd love to get your thoughts on it. But first, Mutiban Sera, you mentioned him a little bit earlier, and those that have followed the COSAFA Cup may be familiar with this man playing in Lesotho colours over the last few years. Hard to mistake him wearing the number 9. He's a busybody. And making way for him is a man that's had a very good game, to being Safali. But there is a man down injured on that far side. I do suspect it's Mutu in the way of Mauritius. So he's getting treatments.
The right full back. The defensive line has looked very solid. He is trying to overlap, obviously, and is cut down by the defender from Lesotho. and I think he lands awkwardly, which he must have strained his ankle or knee in the process.
Now, getting back to your question a little bit earlier, I'd love to get your thoughts or follow up to these particular thoughts I'm sharing with you. Just about any nation you can think of, there is a love for football. No different in the continent, no different to how big or small the country is. Everybody loves football. Everybody wants to be involved in football in some way or other. And for nations like Seychelles, Lesotho, maybe Lesotho deserve better with what they offer, but they are down in that group as well. Mauritius and Seychelles, Comoros as well. The COSAFA Cup is all they have look forward to. Outside of qualifiers once in a while for AFCON, the COSAFA Cup is the one tournament they're guaranteed to be a part of and to compete in. So to them, it's almost like the next best thing ahead of AFCON. But without the COSAFA Cup, they've got nothing to look forward to internationally for their footballers or for their football fans that love their football. So then it becomes terribly crucial to them. Every year, that's what they look forward to. Success or no success, they'll sit there, they'll debate about it as fans. Okay, yeah, another COSAFA Cup and so on. We could have done this differently. We should be doing this. They'll debate whatever they want to debate. But it's something to look forward to on the footballing calendar that to them is as big as it gets. I think.
And I'm trying to understand at the same time. But for me, it's just a question that came. And obviously, it makes you think. But it's very courageous, though, at the same time, that you go into this competition knowing that you might not see the light of day, and yet you still go.
Now, with the man's first involvement since coming on, nicely watched defensively then. Nabab under a bit of pressure, so couldn't put the K he was looking for in that pass. Jackson's run out of room. Bit of a frustrating afternoon in that regard for Mauritius. They really haven't been able to find their rhythm. Here's Nabab. Showed too much. Well, early on in the day, when Mauritius was still finding their groove in the early exchanges, you could see what they were trying to do, working out wide to get the crosses in, to maybe play to their strength in the height they've got out there. That's all gone out the window of late, with them just struggling to put together three passes. It means setting it up for those sort of plays where you can play according to your game plan. If you can't put together 2-3 passes, you've got a serious problem setting it up for your game plan.
And then what type of a plan that you can enforce, knowing that there's limitations in your team? It's not like the players are bad individually. For me, it's just a lack of development in as far as creating the competitiveness whereby these players can grow and rise up to a high level. The league is not professional. Players don't train. They don't have much time to train. They have to leave work. And how much time do you have after work? You probably are tired already from work.
Just looking up historically the top goal scorers for Mauritius in as far as the COSAFA Cup. I don't know if some of these names will ring a bell with you, William Sugar. You've been involved in this competition for years now. Apau, 4 goals. He's the top goal scorer ever for Mauritius at the COSAFA Cup. Nazira with 3. Pierre with 3. Sebastian Bucks is amongst the scorers.
Yeah.
Many of you remember him.
I was expecting him to be amongst those, but he was a midfielder. But there's one coming that I'm sure would be most striking to people that would have followed this game.
Kalembe, no more. Nothing that comes to mind. Now, here's a nice bit of skill. The ball in. There's a chance. Should be. Oh! He's busted over. Well, they can't believe it. With good reason. And, well, it's Tabantu again. This time it wasn't on target.
You know what? He had the time to bring it under control. It's a great delivery from the left-hand or right-hand side he brings it down, and I think the one thing that maybe happened, the ball doesn't roll forward enough for him to start to have that momentum to build 1-2 step, and so that your head is a little bit forward. He controls it, he drifts backwards, and he still hits it in that type of posture.
Also, did it shave the top of the crossbar? I believe it may have.
Listen, he didn't need to shave the top of it. It's a good range to find the back of net. No pressure.
Yeah.
I'm not too sure exactly Esizwa Pena is. Are you feeling sorry for something that you think that ball shaved the top of the bar? It looked like way over the bar for me.
Now, an hour's gone by here, and Lesotho still leads just by the 1-0. And, well, Mauritius looking for the equalizer at their best moment of the second half. Jackson is the man that pulls it wide.
That must be very disappointing. It is the same player that operates Jackson, who operates on the left-hand side. And for me, he's the most aggressive of all, and I think he's had a great game. He's contributed highly in creating the few chances that Mauritius were able to get in front of goal.
Now, here's a Nabab. Now, with the chance created by Mauritius, it's another reminder for Lesotho of a need for a second goal here before this game is done and dusted.
It's always the case.
Yeah.
As long as you leave it that open, the opposition, even if they didn't have a chance, they continue to believe and they continue to play on the front foot, and up until they're rewarded, got to be able to close the game down or put it to bed, as I often say.
Well, Jackson here in a spot of bother, and they'll be hoping that Fernando's okay to continue this game in the place for Piston St. Leo. In Reunion, actually, so he's one of the few that plays out in Reunion. As we look back at this challenge that's caused the problem for them, they wanted to have a man who plays for Red Star out in France to Mauritius. Now, here's the earlier shot. Was I right in saying it shaved the crossbar? Is William Shonga right in saying it went way over? No crossbar.
Well, I know.
No crossbar.
No crossbar, please.
No. And there's Tabantu, the man who's had a good number of chances, a handful now, 5 chances, William Shonga, that is, that have fallen his way. 4 of them on target, 1's blown over. All from run about the same area as well.
The thing is, he knows how to attack the right spaces.
Yeah.
Then they continue to find him, except that maybe his delivery with the last kick is what hasn't worked in his favor.
Yellow card for Balison, by the way. It's spiteful arguing with the referee. Few from Mauritius now on yellow cards. Balison, Patate, as well as Salamandif. Now, shot from range again is not going to cause any problems.
I actually feel a lot better in what I've seen in the last 10 minutes or so of Mauritius.
Yeah.
Yes, still Lesotho does create the chances where they could score the second, but I feel like in as far as the team ability, Mauritius has lifted the game a little bit. They're creating the right moments. The flow is slightly better going into the attacking third, and there'll be some consent from the coach.
Now set up for the shot and missed it altogether. Did the man who's well set up the opportunity a little bit earlier, being Mahashani. He scored the only goal of this match. Now there's space, plenty of it on the far side. If Lesotho look to get on their bike here and go quickly onto the front foot, need better passing, however.
Weight of the pass. Small margins.
Nabab. Nabab there to win the pack. Was hoping for a quick one through when the edge of the box wasn't to be. That's good defending. Superb work there from Makepe. I felt that the referee doesn't quite agree. The assistant captain looked as though he was taking on all comers then. So Lesotho will be making a few changes here. Sarano Bereng, I believe, is amongst those that will be coming on, including Tsepo Tolwane. So, Tolwane will make way. Bereng, a long-time international now, with Lesotho coming in through that creativity, or to add creativity to midfield.
You're more likely to see some serious dominance. And I like the removal of Lesotho in that middle as well, because I feel like, oh, that's another header. That could have easily ended in the back of the net. These are moments. Once again, yes, Mauritius are not scoring, but they're creating good moments that will make them believe that they have something here. They have a say.
I think in the last chance, yes, the slightest connection to the header, but that's about as good a chance as you're going to get. Get a better chance, better connection to the header, and you're going to pull on. It's a great chance, it's a great goal-scoring chance.
The pace of the ball with which it came, you know, easily. You don't have to generate so much power.
I think it's a better chance than it looks, is the point I'm trying to make. Now, this is what Lesotho did extremely well in the first half. Used the width of the field, spread the ball about, combining passing with good movement off the ball, stretch that defense. Now, the chance here, allowed to run on! Saved by the keeper. Beautiful combination play between the two frontline players, but in the end, it's nicely done by Jean-Louis, who kept his eye on the ball then to deny Tabanto.
He's finding the target. He's getting to the right areas. Impressive from Sarah in the way that he anticipated Tabanto behind him and just killed the ball perfectly into his path.
Lovely understanding between the two strikers then. Didn't have to move much left or right to make that save to Jean-Louis. Get a little too straight from Tabanto.
And of course, Bereng, once he put his foot on the ball, you'll see a little bit of magic. He's the man that can actually turn the game around on his head and bring it back in favor of Lesotho.
Well, Lesotho numbers getting in the box here. Those, of course, the big striker, Sarah.
Who was that with the step overs? That got the fans Excited.
And it's Billing. Now, ball in down the line, good movement off the ball here from Bering. Again, he has the option inside the box. His final delivery is somewhat disappointing. Now, from a Lesotho point of view here, it will please you, William Sherman, to find out that the one player from Lesotho who's scored the most goals in COSAFA Cups has recently been included onto this game. Ball in then, comfortable for the keeper, did well, under pressure. And set up on 6 goals. Is the top scorer for Lesotho in the COSAFA Cups.
You can go on and say, where does the top goal scorer of the competition comes from? Well, I'll help you. I can see you're having problems saying it. It comes from the kingdom of Eswatini. Felix Badenhorst.
Oh yes, that is right. You are on the money,
you're pretending not to know.
I knew that.
So, we just didn't have it in you to say it.
I was shocked that you went there. I was really shocked that you went there. But yeah, second top goal scorer for Lesotho in the COSAFA Cups is Tabantu. Men's had a chance to score 2 or 3 here today. He needs just 1 and he's on 6, which is tied with Serra. Nice to see Serra looking to set him up a little bit earlier. So those two are competing in that regard. Space on this near side, Jackson. Isolated, so he's going to wait for support to arrive here with the overlapping run from the defender.
Best player for Mauritius.
Huge gap between him two and the rest of the play. He needs to keep it together here. Needs to watch out, Jackson, not to overreact and get himself into trouble. Like you say, best player for Mauritius, and they're noting that. You can see the treatment he's getting. Not for the first time he's gone down as well, so I think it's building up to a point where Zagoto picks up the yellow card.
He's been taking him.
Yeah. You can understand why he's so angry.
Yeah, he's been delivering Jackson on this left-hand side of the channel, and Zagoto, obviously, being the right full back, is the one that has been having to deal with him.
Well, for Mauritius, in all honesty, it only takes us one moment, one goal here, and even a draw will feel as good as an upset.
There is Fidi. He obviously originates from Madagascar. He's come and played in Mauritius and has become a resident there. He's got a team that he's coaching currently, and has been given the chance to see what he can do after many have failed. How far he has come. Season of Benny. 3-4 seasons ago. The enthusiasm has always been there. But you could see that he wasn't properly developed as a keeper, but he's come a long way. He's become so key. And that's what development can do as well. Growth. They started him at a very young age and just continued to believe in him. And this way
He's believing in him when he struggles and not necessarily having turned their backs on him in helping him develop, make the mistakes young men do go on to make. There's a changes that's been made here for Mauritius.
Saramandif.
Yep, Francia will come on in his place. Has just picked up a card, Saramandif, so I do suspect that they're contributing to him being substituted.
And also coming out is jersey number 7, Jean-Jacques Desiree Patat. It's Blaise Thompson, jersey number 24, Blaise Thompson.
Classic is the other man to have come on here. There you have it, Bassett on for Patate. Patate, another that was in the yellow card from earlier, so really the two players that were replaced were done so with the yellow cards in mind. From a coaching point of view, that's the Mauritius ones, because to go into the last 15 minutes chasing the game and to lose the man.
Moto. The right full back. He's another that has looked very promising, but unfortunately restricted to just more defensive work than helping going forward. That's my man.
Nicely done by Jackson. Early with the ball in as well. Can certainly bring a bit of a live wire type of vibe to this near side for the Malawans, or for the Mauritians, I beg your pardon. Here he is again. Well, they kept moving then by Lange. A touch into no man's land, so it's Lesotho to build from the back. Good hard running here. Set up. Well, they are patient and patiently straight to an offside position. Lesotho in their efforts to try and make something of nothing on their far side. Now, that looks like a ball, good movement as well. Minover towards the far side, so too much of the defender.
Yeah, Sarah allows the ball to stray a little bit forward and eventually giving the chance to the defender to get to it first. It will be very disappointing. Initially it looked a good pass.
Yep. Now an error could be costly here. This is pushing on, Sarah in a good position, but the cross never allowed to arrive. It's some good defending from Mauritius. Cullen with his body on the line. Now, Mauritius looking to create what would be a real opportunity in the second half. Will open the up and comfortably into the hands of Werani. Well, in all their matches, they have been able to keep 18 clean sheets of Mauritius. That's the matches, but they've kept clean sheets. Now, he's worked hard here. Hachani, he's scored a goal, close to creating one or two others. Wondering if they might want to spare him for the next game here, keeping in mind the group doesn't get any easier pushing forward. Mozambique, Angola in action later on. In fact, both those nations will also be lined up to face both Mauritius and Lesotho in concluding who will be champions in the group and who will be advancing to the knockout stages. So, Makashani would leave the field here. On in his place is Melo Maka. Tanzania with just about 10 minutes remaining in this game, and with the hope of having enough of an influence to maybe force his way into the starting lineup this time around. Jackson. Good two. Exactly what he was expecting. So that one gets the feeling once he skipped up and allowed him to run across him, it was basically the contact that would lead to the set piece given the Lesotho way.
For Mauritius, coming out is jersey number 9, Jean-Stéphane Never. In his place comes in jersey number 13, Matthew Porter.
Well, with the change being made, yeah, Jackson making way. It's Jean Nababu that will also make way. Marie Francois on in his place. So, bit of a hold up here. But in the meantime, we will have a chance to update you with Butler coming on for Jackson. Second half substitute. They still need that second goal just to put things to bed here. Well, tell you what, it'll be interesting to see and speak to the teams that will be coming up next to see what they made out of this particular match with him, Shoma, with Mauritius and Lesotho. Nice 1-2 then. The ball invited into the box, way too close to the keeper. The angle was never quite right. Needed to curl away from the keeper if it was to stand a chance of getting to the opponent, but more like it from Francois.
Yeah, more like fresh legs. So when you come in, you're expected to make that kind of an impact. And it's getting to that stage of the game whereby just one quick move could easily get Lesotho in trouble here, because I think they're already beginning to think about also the end of the game, and that's a crucial stage whereby you can be caught because you think the game is dead and buried.
Well, it's just over 5 minutes remaining of 90, plus whatever the referee will add on. For the Lesotho now, that's the question of just remaining disciplined, holding on to the ball. That's exactly what they aim to do here.
And now the honors have Mauritius to apply a little bit of pressure, because if they don't come, then it means Lesotho can keep it.
Now, middle of the park here, Lesotho have it, and this is determined to push forward. The good question. The answer is yes. That's a nice forward. Did a good job of staying onside here on the near side. That's straight offside.
Yeah, how unfortunate, because I thought Bering was excellent in spotting him very early with that first touch.
Well, let's have a look at it again. Yep.
But it seems to be, just before the ball got passed, it seems to be in line. I guess the lesson here for Lesotho is that you gotta be more clinical. I mean, if you think about the number of chances that were afforded, particularly that failed for Tabanchu, at least the second goal should have been maybe more profitable. But also take into account that Mauritius had a few chances of their own that looked like a real great chance. So maybe they can live with that. He's going to get himself into trouble, Colin here. He's getting a little bit, in fact, Emmanuel is getting a little bit reckless in the kind of fouls that he's creating.
Well, it's taken a while to get this going, but we can finally have the set piece taken. Or rather, Mauritius have done well to deal with the change, and as we're looking ahead on the counter, then the ill-timed challenge which will lead to a yellow card. Then it goes into the books is Rasi Tunsa. So Lesotho looking in the driving seat jump and looking to steer this towards 3 points going their way. So keep in mind that we will have Mozambique up against Angola. Kicking off at 6 this evening. Those two teams in this particular group will have kept tabs in this game. They'll know to top the group, all they have to do is win and win by more than one. Oh, that's nicely done. Serra with the cutback, can't find the teammates. They both sort of ran into the same area, and that came to nothing for Lesotho. The challenge out from the far side. Lesotho coming right back. Yes, Serra, back to goal. Now, time working against Mauritius. They worked so hard to keep it. It's just 1-0 in favor of Lesotho that if they can conjure up a moment of magic here and they come up with an equalizing goal, it will be seen as a really, really good day for them. Wow, problems here. The game didn't connect. They've been great. They really have been super here this afternoon. They've made the day. Carried with them a great energy. Only one more man that's carried a nice energy since coming in off the bench, especially.
The referee's heavy shots on that win for the minimum 2 minutes.
Not over just yet. Captain's umpire now was Jean, who was wearing the number 17. Was originally with the bus, who was substituted, meaning he had to move on. Added on to the 90. Cruising by the look of it on Lesotho. Oh, that's a good ball. Sira behind the defense. Sira still with a chance to see that. 2-0. Lovely ball, great attacking play, and Lesotho's all-time greatest scorer at the COSAFA Cup adds one more to his tally. Now they waited till the very last minute to get it, but when they got that goal, it was beautifully created and taken. Patience, the name of the game here. For Coach Notzi and his men. But for McClung, it's a lovely run here. Beautiful pass. Cuts ahead of the defender. Once he got rid of him, all he has to do is keep his composure. Goal number 7 for the Lesotho COSAFA Cups. Having a ball of a time. Not just the Lesotho fans, but the players as well here. There you have it. It's Lesotho that start off their campaign in the best way possible. 2-goal lead and win over Mauritius means they now jump to the top of the group and we'll wait to see what happens in the match that will be coming up next between Angola and Mozambique. Set up with the second after Brachani has scored the first. Mauritius, with their best moments, few and far apart, completely outplayed in this game. They will know it'll only get tougher, Mauritius, going forward here, with the nations that lie in wait for Lesotho. They'll hope to be able to emulate this result in the games that will be coming up, which for them themselves will be much tougher. First of 2 games today, with a good crowd that certainly was behind Lesotho, ends with Lesotho, the nation that continues their dominance over Mauritius. So, here at the King Zwelithini Stadium, it's Group C action that starts off with Mauritius up against Lesotho, and Lesotho that walk away with 3 points, having won the match with a 2-0 scoreline. Well, let's enjoy some of the best moments in the match then. Early on in the day, it was Nabam who had this great 1-2 then and cut it back, and very nearly there was an own goal here with Makepe. Denied by Mwerani, who came up with a good save here to deny his captain. That looked goal bound until the keeper got involved. And one of the few good moments for Mauritius in that game. Lesotho then started to have moments. This one of their best, jump on the shoulder, loses the keeper and buries it. There's a Mohashani. There you have it. It's Lesotho that opened the scoring in that fashion. Nicely done with the assist here from Tabansu. Keeper outsmarted Lesotho deservingly in the lead at that point. They weren't quite done, Lesotho kept creating moments, and one man on the field who should have scored here today, especially with the number of chances he had, is Tabansu. 6 goals he scored for his country thus far. Or 5, he's looking for one more to tie with Serra. Was at that point. Again, here's another opportunity for Tabansu. This time for much closer. He's missed it all together, and well, he's done everything right but keep that on target. They couldn't believe it. Serra took all the time in the world here, composed himself after a lovely run into what show his experience and extend his lead at the top of the charts as the top goal scorer for Lesotho and these championships. Loads and loads of experience coming to the fore then. And Lesotho confirming the win and 3 points going their way. Having a look at the stats then, no shots on target from Mauritius. That pretty much sums it up. All the numbers in favor of Lesotho. In fact, Lesotho will look at 8 shots on target and feel they should have scored more than just the 2 goals they did score. But overall, they'll be happy with the display and the dominance of Mauritius. So, William Chongles made his way down to the side of the field. He is waiting with the coaches, including your man of the match.
The Councillor of eThekwini, Vusim Gat, is here to present the Man of the Match award, and the Man of the Match is Neo Mwakachane. Congratulations, sir. Please do the honors. Mwakachane, yeah, a great game. Fantastic down the right-hand side of the attack for Lesotho, but you must be excited that, yes, it's 2-0 win plus Man of the Match.
Thank you, sir. First of all, I would like to thank God for the opportunity he gave me to represent my country in the COSAFA games. It was not an easy game to play. We had a good first half, I can say. I managed to get a goal through my colleagues. It was not an easy game to play, but I enjoyed my game.
Thank you very much, and congratulations. Great game.
Thank you, sir.
And of course, coming up is the coach of Mauritius, Coach Fidi. And Coach, you know, it was a difficult match for you, but I felt like you must be happy with the second half performance in the way that the boys came back and started fighting, making progress, creating a few chances of your own.
So d'abord, je comprends très bien. Nous pas démérité, mais mon satisfait pour nos performances. Nous avons bien joué, nous sommes satisfaits personnellement. Et bonne performance, mon bon joueur. Mais je pense que nous ne pas démérité, mais Maurice a bien joué 90 minutes. Et derrière défensif qui de goal, mais c'est ça qui m'a débalance ce match-là. Mais moi encore, je félicite mon bon joueur Maurice.
So the coach is saying it was not a bad match for Mauritian team. So after a good start, so we concede a goal where our goalkeeper made a mistake, maybe with the pitch. ball bounce. But the guys fight for the second half, so they make a very well second half. They battle in the middle, try to score, but for him, he's satisfied with his group.
Thank you very much, Coach, and better luck next time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And of course, coming up is Coach Notse from Lesotho, who obviously will be pleased, even though my personal feeling that is like Lesotho should have actually scored way more goals than they did. Coach, talk to me.
Yes, the game was tough as we had expected, and I think we should give credit to Mauritius. The game was quite good for both teams, but at the same time, I think our boys showed character. Yes, we created a lot of goal-scoring opportunities, but we were not clinical in front of the goal. So it's a homework for us. It's something that we really need to deal with, and time is not on our side. But all in all, I would say taking 3 points in this game, it's something that we really cherish.
Coach, as you say, there's not enough time. I think you're 100% correct here, because aggregate will matter come the end of the round robin.
Yes, you know, in a cup competition, you need to score as many goals as you can. So going forward, I think we can look at a lot of positives that we took out of this match to, you know, emphasize, encourage the guys, and in training just deal a little bit with more finishing. So I think all in all, there isn't much that we can do in this short space of time.
Coach, thanks very much again, and I'm sure going forward you'll be hoping to correct a few of those mistakes, and well done.
Thank you so much. We'll definitely do that. Cheers. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much to William Shongwe, the coaches and the men of the match. Then as we look back at the results, then it's Mauritius that fall victim to Lesotho in starting Group C. Later on, 6 o'clock the kickoff, we will bring you Mozambique up against Angola, one not to miss, as the rivalry between those two nations will continue.